Hello, it's Janine again. Earlier today I posted a video talking about the Saturn retrograde and how it's going to affect us. And a lot of it has to do with being in Pisces. So there are effects based upon our astrological signs. And so I'm going to cover that today. And that way, sign by sign, you will know how to navigate your way through this retrograde. Also, I want to point out that tomorrow, Sunday, June 18th, there's a new moon. That's a really great time to start something new. So if you've been thinking about doing something you haven't done before, this is definitely a good time to be doing it. And as long as you don't start it somewhere between 1:24 a.m. and 5:58 a.m., it'll be great. And so that time frame that I just mentioned, 1:24 a.m. to 5:58 a.m., is when the moon is void of course. After it ends at precisely 5:59, we enter Cancer. And so the Cancer moon, this is what you can expect. The Cancer moon is the most nurturing of all of the moons. Concerns turn to home, family, children, mothers, fathers. Expressing our emotions as well as being sympathetic and understanding, and to everybody, not just our family. We're often in the mood to cook or take care of our loved ones. Want to do something nice for them, maybe buy them a gift or something. During this moon, our feelings run very high. It's important to be aware of becoming overly sensitive about things, overly dependent, or needy. Those things can happen during the Cancer moon. And it is a really great time just to putter around the house, entertain family, and tend to domestic concerns. Perfect day for Father's Day. Perfect. And the next void of course moon isn't until Tuesday. So we'll be riding through this all day Sunday, all day Monday, and most of Tuesday, because the moon does not go void of course until 4:43 p.m. and it ends at 5:04 p.m. So it's not a very long void of course, but when it ends, we are in Leo. And Leo is the drama moon. This theatrical sign is known for big entrances, love of display, and a need for attention. During this moon, we are all feeling a little bit of a need to be recognized or possibly applauded, but at the very least appreciated. All that excitement, pride, and emotion can turn into melodrama in the blink of an eye. So be careful about overreacting or becoming excessively vain during this moon. It's not going to work out for you very well. It's a really good time to take in a show or be in one. Be romantic, express your feelings, just be kind. Best way to handle this moon. And I do want to mention when the sun is in, when the moon is in Cancer, anyone with the sign of Cancer is having high energy. Anyone with the sign of Capricorn is experiencing low energy. And this happens, there's a high and a low every single moon. So with the Leo moon, Leos experience high energy and Aquarians experience low energy. Now, you sure don't want to sign up for a marathon when you're in low energy. Those are the kind of days where you kind of feel like you maybe don't even want to get out of your jammies. And so don't plan much for those days. So anyway, that has you covered for the next few days for the void of course moon. And now I'm going to tell you about the effects of the Saturn retrograde based upon signs. And so we are in the sign of Gemini right now. And so I am going to start with Gemini, as some people are having birthdays today, and happy birthday. This is going to help you. All right, so if your sign is Gemini, The pressure has been on ever since Saturn went into Pisces 3 months ago for you to get serious about your goals. The Saturn retrograde gives you a break from the new limitations and restrictions that you've been dealing with for the past few months. This gives you time to process the new responsibilities you've taken on and get back into your professional groove. So that's for Gemini, excuse me. Now, if your sun sign is Cancer, which by the way starts on Wednesday, the sun enters Cancer. If you are in the sign of Cancer, you might be feeling a bit constrained these last 3 months. This is likely from Saturn setting boundaries for you. If adventure seems impossible to find, trust that it can always be found within. Now is the time to return to studies and projects that you feel deeply that you never quite finished them. So take advantage of that, and that should work out. All right, now if your sun sign is Leo, Saturn has been pushing you to learn to set better boundaries and make deep changes in your life. The Saturn retrograde will help you to process these new boundaries, especially boundaries involving your investments. This is the time to decide if your new boundaries are too strict or possibly not strict enough. Now we move on to Virgo. So if your sun sign is Virgo, this retrograde is going to have a major impact on you. And this is because Saturn is in Pisces, and that's your opposite sign. This will oppose Virgo throughout the entire retrograde. Don't expect the worst, though. It's not totally dark. This retrograde will give you a break from major relationship changes that you've been processing the last 3 months. The retrograde will help you to examine your one-on-one partnerships very closely and find the solutions so that you can get on the same page. So, it isn't going to be awful, but it is going to be some work. And if your sun sign is Libra, you've likely been working on removing obstructions from your daily life and breaking unhealthy habits these last 3 months. You've probably discovered that results are not instant. The Saturn retrograde will help you to give your new routine a little bit of time to take root into your reality. If you've been failing, get back up and try again. Next is Scorpio. So if Scorpio is your sun sign, you've likely noticed that life hasn't been much fun these last few months. Saturn has been forcing you to raise your standards for love, pleasure, and creativity. If the things that used to make you happy aren't making you happy anymore, this retrograde is a great time for you to try new hobbies and explore some new projects. This is also a good time for singles to take a break from dating and to work on self-love. Work on yourself. Become your own best friend. Next, we have Sagittarius. So if you are a Sagittarian, you have likely been taking on new responsibilities in your home. It's possible that the burdens have been piling up, and for the past few months, you've been coming to terms with a new reality in your private life. This retrograde will force you to reflect on the things that have happened, giving you a proactive and realistic perspective. Give yourself time to rebuild your understanding of home and to experiment with where you want to plant your roots. Next is Capricorn. And if Capricorn is your sun sign, you've been feeling a little stagnant and unstimulated these last few months. And Saturn has been affecting your communication. Also, close friend relationships. And not only that, your intellectual connections. Saturn's been showing you the consequences of what you say, what you think, and how you communicate. It's likely that you are internalizing some of these newfound realizations. The Saturn retrograde gives you a chance to slow down so that your life can catch up with your thoughts. So basically, let that happen. Next is Aquarius, and if Aquarius is your sun sign, Saturn has been forcing you to take a more responsible attitude toward your finances and your spending habits these last few months. It's also been showing you the weak spots in the foundation that is your support system. The Saturn retrograde is the perfect time for you to fix what has been broken for a long time. This retrograde will help you to develop a deeper trust in yourself and stronger self-esteem. Realize that you don't always need beautiful things to complete you when you're already beautiful. And the next sign is Pisces. And Saturn is in Pisces. So, if this is your sign, you're feeling Saturn more intensely than any other sun sign because Saturn is in your sign and it's going to stay there until the end of the retrograde. Now, Saturn has been reconstructing your identity and forcing you to embrace your more mature sense of self. This has likely made you feel that you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. This retrograde allows you to stop adding things to your plate and acclimate to everything that you have already signed up for. That's enough for now. So take advantage of that. When this retrograde ends, you'll have a stronger understanding of yourself and what direction you plan to take next. And our next sign is Aries. And so if you are an Aries, get ready to reflect on your secrets, your dreams, and your fantasies. Saturn has been forcing you to look at your tendency to escape situations and the unseen energies that you'd prefer to ignore. You may be feeling distant from the world at this time. This retrograde gives you time to take control of your subconscious understanding of the world before it takes control of you. Take this time to go underground and then rise up better than ever. And then we have Taurus, and that is the last of the signs because we started with Gemini. And if Taurus is your sign, you've likely been experiencing issues in your social circle as well as your extended network, as Saturn's been forcing you to re-examine ideas you share with others as well as the people you're sharing those ideas with. This retrograde is going to give you time to rethink your impact on other people and the way others impact you. Don't forget the power of community, especially if it's the community you are feeling aligned with. A supportive community will elevate you, while a community of jealous people will only hold you back. And so that is the specific advice, sign by sign, for navigating through this Saturn retrograde. Pluto went into retrograde recently. I will be covering that in the next few days. And I will also be addressing a couple of these questions, especially about boundaries. I have some great ideas about that. But the questions that Saturn is making you ask yourselves. And so we'll look at how to set better limits and boundaries. And let's see. Oh, and also about a little bit about Reiki, because I am a Reiki master. And also how I learned to say no better, because there's some tricks to that. And you definitely need to know how to say no where you're not going to offend people, but you still need to protect your boundaries. So that's what's coming up. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe. I so much appreciate that, and it does help the algorithm. I will be starting to do live shows soon, and I own and operate a rock shop, and so the live show is pretty much about beautiful rocks and the metaphysical properties and values that they have and the wonderful energy they share with us. And so that is a weekly thing. I am also going to start doing short live shows that are focused on one thing, like maybe all obelisks, or maybe all spheres, or all bracelets, or things like that. And so I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 of those a week, besides my big show on Friday nights where I show 150 pieces. And so that's what's coming. If you're interested, I am delighted and so grateful. So for now, have yourself a great one, and I'll be back in the next day or 2. Thanks so much for watching. Bye now.